Hello sa'yo student, ako si Sir Bryan. At nandito ka sa aking channel na The Millennial Teacher. Nandito ako para tulungan ka sa math subject mo. Nagtuturo ako ng mga topics mula grade 7 hanggang grade 10. Pero bago natin umpisahan ang klase, ay iniimbitahan kitang mag-subscribe sa aking channel at pindutin ang notification bell para lagi kang updated sa mga bagong upload ko na tiyak na makakatulong sa'yo. Simulan na natin ang klase. Ito ang part 5 video ko tungkol sa special product. Kung hindi mo pa napapanood ang mga naunang video, ay ilalagay ko sa description ang link para mapanood mo student. Ang topic na ituturo ko ay ang product of the form quantity x plus or minus y times quantity x squared minus or plus xy plus y squared. The product of the form quantity x plus y times quantity x squared minus xy plus y squared is equal to the sum of the cubes of x and y, and the product of the form quantity x minus y times quantity x squared plus xy plus y squared is equal to the difference of the cubes of x and y. Sa special product na ito ay kailangan natin i-justify ang second factor gamit ang first factor. Gamitin natin ang unang form. Quantity x plus y times quantity x squared minus xy plus y squared equals x cubed plus y cubed. Ang first factor natin ay x plus y at ang second factor natin ay x squared minus xy plus y squared. At ang first term ng ating first factor ay x at ang second term ng ating first factor ay y. Ngayon student, ay kailangan natin masatisfy ang second factor gamit ang first factor para masabi natin na ang product ay equal sa x cubed plus y cubed. Steps in satisfying the second factor. Step 1. Square the first term of first factor. Ang ating first factor ay x plus y at ang first term ay x. Kaya, magiging x raised to 2 is equal to x squared. At ayan, ang first term ng ating second factor. Step 2. Multiply the terms of first factor. And get the opposite sign. Again, ang ating first factor ay x plus y kaya, ang mga terms ay x and y. By multiplying, magiging x times y is equal to xy, and get the opposite sign, kaya magiging negative xy. At ayan, ang second term ng ating second factor. Step 3. Square the second term of first factor. Again, ang ating first factor ay x plus y at ang ating second term ay y. Kaya magiging y raised to 2 is equal to y squared. At ayan, ang third term ng ating second factor. Kapag pinagsama-sama natin, ang resulta ay magiging x squared minus xy plus y squared. At dahil nasatisfy natin ang second factor gamit ang first factor, ang product ay equal sa x cubed plus y cubed. Gamitin natin ito sa mga sumusunod na halimbawa. Example number 1 ay quantity a plus 2b times quantity a squared minus 2ab plus 4b squared. Again, kailangan natin i-justify ang second factor gamit ang first factor. Ang ating first factor ay a plus 2b at ang ating second factor ay a squared minus 2ab plus 4b squared. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay a at ang second term ng ating first factor ay 2b. Steps in satisfying the second factor. Step 1. Square the first term of first factor. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay a. Kaya magiging a raised to 2 is equal to a squared. At ayan, ang first term ng second factor. Step 2. Multiply the terms of first factor. And get the opposite sign. Ang terms ng ating first factor ay a and 2b. By multiplying, magiging a times 2b is equal to 2ab. And get the opposite sign, which is negative 2ab at ayan. Ang second term ng ating second factor. Step 3. Square the second term of first factor. Ang second term ng ating first factor ay 2b, kaya magiging 2b raised to 2 is equal to 4b squared. At ayan, ang third term ng ating second factor. Kapag pinagsama-sama natin student, ang resulta ay a squared minus 2ab plus 4b squared. Ibig sabihin ay nasatisfy natin ang second factor gamit ang first factor. At dahil connected by plus sign ang ating binomial factor, kaya ang form na gagamitin natin student ay x cubed plus y cubed. Ang value ng ating x ay a at ang value ng ating y ay 2b, kaya magiging a raised to 3 plus 2b raised to 3. By simplifying, magiging a raised to 3 is equal to a cubed plus 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8, and b raised to 3 is equal to b cubed. Kaya, ang final answer, student ay a cubed plus 8b cubed. Example number 2, ay quantity 3c minus 7 times quantity 9c squared plus 21c plus 49. Again, kailangan natin i-justify ang second factor gamit ang first factor. Ang first factor natin ay 3c minus 7. At ang ating second factor ay 9c squared plus 21c plus 49. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay 3c at ang second term ng ating first factor ay negative 7. Steps in satisfying the second factor. Step 1. Square the first term of first factor. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay 3c, kaya magiging 3c raised to 2 is equal to 9c squared. At ayan, ang first term ng ating second factor. Step 2. Multiply the terms of first factor and get the opposite sign. Ang terms ng ating first factor ay 3c at negative 7. Kaya magiging 3c times negative 7 is equal to negative 21c. And get the opposite sign, which is positive 21c. At ayan, ang second term ng ating second factor, student. Step 3. Square the second term of first factor. Ang second term ng ating first factor ay negative 7. Kaya magiging negative 7 raised to 2 is equal to 49. At ayan, ang third term ng ating second factor. Kapag pinagsama-sama natin student, ang resulta ay 9c squared plus 21c plus 49. Ibig sabihin ay nasatisfy natin ang second factor gamit ang first factor. At dahil connected by minus sign ang ating binomial factor, kaya ang form na gagamitin natin student ay x cubed minus y cubed. Ang value ng ating x ay 3c at ang value ng ating y ay 7. Kaya magiging 3c raised to 3 minus 7 raised to 3. By simplifying, magiging 3 raised to 3 is equal to 27. And c raised to 3 is equal to c cubed minus 7 raised to 3 is equal to 343. Kaya, ang ating final answer, student, ay 27c cubed minus 343. For our last example, I given the quantity 2d plus 5e times quantity 4d squared minus 10de plus 25e squared. Again, kailangan natin i-justify ang second factor gamit ang first factor. Ang ating first factor ay 2d plus 5e at ang ating second factor, student, ay 4d squared minus 10de plus 25e squared. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay 2d at ang second term ng ating first factor ay 5e. Steps in satisfying the second factor. Step 1. Square the first term of first factor. Ang first term ng ating first factor ay 2d, kaya magiging 2d raised to 2 is equal to 4d squared. At ayan, ang first term ng second factor, student. Step 2. Multiply the terms of first factor. And get the opposite sign. Ang terms ng ating first factor ay 2d at 5e. Kaya magiging 2d times 5e is equal to 10de. And get the opposite sign, which is negative 10de. At ayan, ang second term ng ating second factor. Step 3. Square the second term of first factor. Ang second term ng ating first factor, student, ay 5e. Kaya magiging 5e raised to 2 is equal to 25e squared. At ayan, ang third term ng ating second factor. Kapag pinagsama-sama natin, student, ang resulta ay 4d squared minus 10de plus 25e squared. Ibig sabihin ay nasatisfy natin ang second factor gamit ang first factor. At dahil connected by plus sign ang ating binomial factor, kaya ang form na gagamitin natin, student, ay x cubed plus y cubed. Ang value ng ating x ay 2d at ang value ng ating y ay 5e. Kaya magiging 2d raised to 3 plus 5e raised to 3. By simplifying, magiging 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8. And d raised to 3 is equal to d cubed. Plus 5 raised to 3 is equal to 125. And e raised to 3 is equal to e cubed. Kaya, ang final answer, student, ay 8d cubed plus 125e cubed. Hopefully, may natutunan ka sa video na ito, student. At huwag mo na ding kalimutan mag-subscribe and share mo na din ito sa kapwa mo mag-aaral na kailangan matutunan ang topic na ito. Muli, ako si Sir Bryan, ang iyong Millennial Teacher. And see you sa my next class.